Welcome to tonight's special edition where we are celebrating the most important love story of all, the one with ourselves. And that's you and I. As the great poet Maya Angelou once said, love recognizes no barriers, it jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. Tonight, we're embracing this boundless love, not just as a romantic notion, but as a very powerful tool for self-discovery and empowerment. Through the voices of poets, writers, and everyday people, we will explore the transformative power of self-love and awareness, which is only possible through self-acceptance. From the poignant words of Watson Sher, who wrote, "My alone feels so good, I will only have you if you are sweeter than my solitude," to the countless stories of individuals who have found strength in embracing their true selves. We'll delve into the beauty of self-love tonight. So I'm asking that you please join me as we create a space safe for honest conversations, heartfelt sharing, and collective growth. Let's celebrate the voices that matters most, which is our own voice. Permit me to wish you a happy Valentine's Day tonight as you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV. Follow us across all social media platforms at VOP TV Live, and you can call or text to be a part of this special show tonight. Call us on 090-447-32605. Let's make our voices heard. My name is Adefunke Jayesibi, and it's time for a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. As we celebrate Valentine's Day, we are taking a step back to focus on the most important love story of all, the one with ourselves. Like I said earlier, our topic tonight is self-love and awareness, celebrating the power of self-acceptance. As we reimagine Valentine, we'll also be discussing moral degeneration in our society and how self-love and awareness can play a role in addressing these issues. Joining me tonight is an exceptional educator and thought leader, Ronke Posh Adeniyi. She's the director of Le Posh School, Ikoyi. With her extensive experience in education and child development, Ronke Posh brings a unique perspective on nurturing young minds and promoting self-awareness. So it's time to welcome you to the show. Good evening, Ronke Posh.
Good evening. Thanks for inviting me.
Many thanks, and I hope it's been a lovely day for you as we celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yes, it has. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much. All right, let's dive right in. As an educator, you've seen firsthand the impact of self-love and awareness on young minds. Can you share with us why you believe self-love and awareness are essential for personal growth and development, particularly in today's Nigeria?
Well, it's our tank is full before we have anything to give anyone else. Anything that we're giving, we have enough of it, and we must not rely on external validation to be whole. We must ensure that we ourselves and the children that we are raising, that we find ourselves valuable. We have enough self-esteem, self-worth to be able to run with things in life. If we keep relying on external validation, it's risky, it's futile, and it never works out. So the best way to go is to ensure that our tanks are full and that we have enough of that self-esteem, that self-worth as individuals.
Okay, thank you very much. But at what point do you think that people need to be groomed when it comes to identify their true self?
I mean, grooming it should come from our childhood. It should come from our childhood. And if you remember, I mentioned that we can't pour from an empty cup. We can't give what we don't have. So if someone that has a low self-esteem is raising a child, the chances that that child will have a very low self-esteem is very, very high. So we must ensure that as we're raising our children, looking within, we're looking without, and we're ensuring that we're raising children that are confident, children that are wholesome, that when they grow up, when they come to days like this, it's not what is happening on social media. It's not what happens in the class. It's not what happens in society that determines whether you're going to be happy today or not. If you have esteem, you understand that the love starts with you. It starts with your family. You don't have to look out there before you are validated. You are enough just as you are. So it is recommended that we start with our children when they're small, when they're young. 2-year-olds say affirmations. They say that they are beautiful, they are strong, they are brave, they are wise, they can do it, they are enough. Even little acts like that begin to build a child, to help that child to understand that they are enough as individuals.
Okay, thank you very much. But you just cited the importance of having parents who have a very good self-esteem, because you can't even give what you don't have. And looking at what's happening on social media these days, we've seen a lot of people who would rather seek validation from people they don't know. And in response to this, you've seen people making comments like, oh, who raised these kids? Who are your parents? And the like. So in a situation where a child is not fortunate enough to have parents who are well groomed and have some sort of acceptance of who they are, how can they seek help? And where do they go from being just someone that needs to seek validation outside to someone that understands that they are well enough, like you said?
So, I mean, if an adult is lacking in self-esteem, you can even start by reading books. You don't always have to start with people, because a lot of people might appear confident, they may appear as if they have self-esteem, but they may not. It's not by what they do or what they say that says that they have self-esteem. You'll find a lot of people on social media doing one thing or the other. If they may appear confident, but they themselves are seeking external validation. So sometimes it's difficult to actually decipher and know if someone is actually truly confident or if it's a facade. It may not be the real thing. So you can even start with books, start reading books, start finding out, so that you can know the kind of person that you might want to associate yourself with, that might help you to boost your morale, to be able to boost your esteem, to boost your self-worth. But at the end of the day, the work is yours to do. So if the parenting hasn't happened, you have to reparent yourself. It's not impossible to reparent yourself. It's not impossible to learn strategies to become a better person. It's not impossible to improve or increase your self-esteem. It's very, very possible. So you can start reading books, hanging around with people that are doing things that you want to do, seeing how they function on a day-to-day basis, volunteering at places. You know, if I want to be confident in doing certain things, I might volunteer somewhere or go and get a job somewhere so that I can learn the ropes. And you find that if you are equipped with certain skills, you are more confident. So if you are given a car to drive, you may not be confident because you don't know how to drive. But when you start driving, you begin to gain the confidence. And after a while, you drive in such a way that you don't even think about anything that you're doing. You just drive and get to your destination. Because the more that you equip yourself, the more that you empower yourself, the more that you are confident, the more that your self-esteem improves. So you just have to get there and do things. You have to practice doing the things. So if it's a communication issue that you have to start gradually. Start speaking to people, start talking to people, start with social media, start anywhere, start where you are. Make the mistakes and absorb the mistakes. There's no failure in life, only feedback. And in doing so, you continue to build and strengthen those muscles. They say practice makes progress.
Right.
Practice makes progress.
Perfect. Okay, practice makes perfect progress, not perfect here.
No, there's no perfection in life.
Okay. But it's quite unfortunate that a lot of people do not even read. And even though you've mentioned the fact that people can read to reparent themselves, like Yorubas will say that "Toba bi ewa tun ra ebi," when someone gives birth to you, you should go ahead and have a rebirth. That's the way to go. But sincerely, we need to look at it from the perspective of the average person, because we see on social media how young people, even adults, go out to do stuff, post. Some will say for the sake of engagement, some will say for the sake of validation. I think about a week or more ago, there was this post online where a certain media personality was questioning how we got here, seeing girls on a certain boy's TikTok page who had put up a challenge for them to expose their boobs on social media. And a lot of girls were doing the same. And even when people were making it a case and asking questions, he said that he did not force anybody to do what they were doing, that it was just fun. But in a world where societal expectations and media representation can impact our self-perception, because the truth is a lot of people are without identity. And this is not even about who gave birth to who now. A lot of people get to lost their original identity. So beyond reading, can you give us some practical tips or strategies for cultivating self-love and awareness and building an identity that you would stand with regardless of what is happening around you?
To be honest, you still have to read. No matter where you're getting it from, somebody, you still have to read. Readers are learners. That's where you start from. Yes, you're going to tell yourself practical things, but how are you going to learn those practical things? Even if you're learning it from social media, you're still going to have to read and absorb it from somewhere. You're going to, sit under the mentorship of somebody that's going to tell you the things that you're going to do. So you want to build your esteem. You want to say to yourself that I'm enough, I'm good enough, I can do X, Y, and Z. How do I become a better person? You start asking those questions. You go on this journey of self-discovery. You find a coach, The reason I'm saying books is because they're often the cheapest way to go. Oftentimes, if people are on a journey of self-discovery or they're trying to build their esteem and you're going for courses, the average youth may not be able to afford it. But they will look for data to be online. Yes. So why don't you use that data to download a book? It could be an ebook on YouTube. It could be a regular book, a PDF that you download, so that you can read and you can become a better person. There was this saying that if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book, because they know that they need to read the book. That was the perception or assumption for black people many years ago. It's probably still the case, because many people still don't like to read. They just want that magic formula. So if I want to become a better person, I became who I am today by virtue of reading, studying, learning from people, sitting under the mentorship of people. But those people are still going to give you things to read. You're still going to do a lot of research. You're going to find out. You're going to learn about people, the people that you want to be like, you aspire to be like, people that inspire you. You're going to have to hang around people, yes. But these opportunities are not available always to the average youth, except when you're volunteering. And even at that, there are still limits to reaching certain people. So spend your time absorbing things that matter, as opposed to TikTok videos, Instagram videos that are not adding value to you. A lot of people sit on blogs. If you ask them the latest information, the latest gist that is happening in Nigeria right now, they know it. But tell them to read a book or ask them what they are reading. They're not reading anything. It's adding value to their life. And that is where you are going to grow. And that is how you are going to grow. That is how I know that people tend to change their lives. They hang around good people. When they say, there's another common saying that if you hang around 5 fools, you are the 6th fool.
Right.
Hang around 5 wise people, you're probably going to become wiser.
Right.
So hang around the people that are wise. But I'm also very careful when I say that, because a lot of people appear to be wise. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. They appear to be wise, but they are cheats. We must be very careful who we associate ourselves with, who our children associate ourselves with, because it's not everything that glitters on social media that is for real. So I don't want to make that recommendation. There's a lot of abuse, especially in religious circles, where a lot of people will go to religious institutions and they are abused. They are made to do silly things them online all the time. Made to eat X, Y, and Z, made to take off their clothes, made to do so many things by people that they have given their trust. And that's why I'm very wary of saying go and learn from this particular person, because you might fall victim or prey to that person. However, go and find out what it means to go on a journey of discovery, to go and find out what it means to have self-esteem, begin to find out what it is to have self-worth. Those are generic things that you can find in books, you can find online. Those are safe places, because a lot of people also don't know how to think critically and filter X from Y. It's one thing having a lot of information online, but to be able to decipher and know that this information is wheat and this is chaff, and I must separate the two of them. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Okay. So it's very important that we dig in and do the research if you want to become a better person.
All right. But for so many people, they say that it's usually a very thin line between a good self-esteem and being proud. How can we draw the line? What's the difference for someone to be proud and for someone to have a very good self-esteem?
There's a thin line indeed. I do agree, because even I've been on the receiving end where people have said, oh, perhaps she's arrogant or she's full of herself. But the thing is, if you have a good self-esteem and you have a good self-esteem, that's it. You can't please people and you can't allow people to sway you, because perception is not reality. What people see is not always what it is. It's difficult to interpret who someone is by virtue of a 1 minute clip, a 1.5 minute clip. You would have to have spent more time. What people present online is not necessarily who they are. That's another thing.
Right.
So all those assumptions, you really can't make good judgments by seeing certain things about people online. But as an individual, you will know when you're bordering on that angle of pride. You become condescending, you become judgmental, you lack empathy, you lack love and humanity for other people. There are cases online now that I've seen. I did a post not long ago about a case that I had seen online where social media, in my own opinion, had made an institution make a decision for a student to expel a student based on the fact that there was a lot of social media pressure. But what is the place of the school is not just to teach English and math or whatever the subject is. The place of the school is local parenting, to also show love and act like the parents. That's the place to be human, to show humanity, to show love, to show empathy. So if you see they're not doing all those things, then it's no longer a matter of confidence or esteem. They're now bordering on pride, and pride, as we know, goes before destruction.
All right. Thank you very much for that response, because that's a very, very important conversation for a lot of people. But there's love in the air. We are celebrating love, and for many people, they are not. A lot of people don't feel fulfilled on days like this. You get to see people making some posts around not receiving gifts. Feels like they are all by themselves. Nobody's paying attention and all of that. But we are embracing this boundless love, and we are not seeing it as just a romantic notion here. We are trying to look at it from the angle of love being a powerful tool for self-discovery and empowerment. So what point do you get to and you see loving yourself as a powerful tool for empowerment and not just you not needing anyone?
That's a good question. You see, I've seen some of those sort of posts, and I even know people that are sad today because it's Valentine's Day and they don't have a Valentine. And it may seem borderline mean, but to be honest, if you don't have a Valentine's today and you are sad, then you actually deserve not to have a Valentine.
Really?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That means because you're saying that you're a miserable person. You can't be happy and enjoy your own company. You want somebody else to make you happy. Why don't you go out there and make somebody happy yourself? Why are you waiting for somebody to bring you gifts, to come down and spend time with you? You can do that. And if you're unwilling to do that, why don't you do it for yourself? Why don't you order some things in? Why don't you go out to the cinema or to a nice fancy restaurant? Why don't you treat yourself like the king or the queen that you are? Why must you wait for somebody else to do it for you? And that's what we're talking about, self-worth and self-esteem. If you're full and your tank is full, you are enough. You can buy anything for yourself. You are an empowered man, you are an empowered woman. Is it that you need the gifts, you want it, or because you are seeing other people that they have it and they are going, God, when? Where is my own? That's it, really. Because if Valentine's Day didn't exist, everybody will just move along. And to be honest, by tomorrow, a lot of people have forgotten about it.
Right.
A lot of people even have Valentine's, but they have no peace because their Valentine has 500 other Valentines. If you don't have a Valentine, but you have peace, then what you have is priceless. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Put on something on Netflix or YouTube. Put on something, put some music on, dance, enjoy yourself. Have something nice to eat. And just get on with it. Or don't even notice the day. Must you notice the day? Must you be on social media? Because a lot of people don't even know anything that is happening today. There's a lot of traffic. I went out today. The traffic is huge. It's horrible. A lot of people are not going to make it to restaurants because it's so packed. So why don't you just get on with your day? Stay off social media and the pressure goes away. That is what happens. So when people don't log in, remove the app for today. By tomorrow, it's business as usual. Everybody has forgotten about Valentine. Trust me.
All right. Thank you for that response because we really need to address these things. Let's also look at this angle. You being an educator, an exceptional one at that, and your experience in education and child development, you sort of understand relating with children. And I know that for any adult, we must have gone through that process of being a child before becoming an adult. There's this notion that women are weaklings when it comes to love. And oftentimes
Women are what?
Weaklings, like we are the weaker vessels. We always want the attention, we want the love, and we are the ones that get to break down when we don't get some of these things. In your opinion or from experience, do you think that these things are gender-based? Or a man can as well be looking for love and not loving himself?
Yeah. So lack of love, lack of self-esteem, not feeling love, they're not gender-based. They're not gender-based responses. They're not gender-based emotions, feeling down on a day like this. It's not a matter of gender. But society and upbringing has made it such a way that they expect that the man should give something material or financial in order for a woman to reciprocate the love. A lot of the women are not empowered to believe that they should do things for themselves or for men. There's a lot of burden put on men for them to give. And that's why we are indeed having all these ritual killings and kidnapping and Yahoo going on, because there's a lot of pressure to look after the family, pressure to look after the wife, the girlfriend, the side chick, the everything. Whereas the ladies, they have less pressure. The parents are unconsciously, and the society have also encouraged to the point where they just sit back and wait for the rich guy. Every other woman now is looking for the rich guy. You know, even from the talking stage, they're looking for him to pay them 1 million. You know, love has become a commodity. It has now become transactional. It's no longer fluid. It's no longer what it should be. But that's not the norm. It's a toxic kind of love that exists now. Very few and far between now where you see that people genuinely love each other and give each other things. Some people are even happy. They even get gifts, but when they come online and see what somebody else got or their friends got, then they become disgruntled. See, a lot of people are not unhappy until they begin to compare themselves to other people. Those are the issues. And that's why this conversation is important. Having your own self-worth and your own self-esteem. Somebody will always have more than you. There are people that have lost their partners at this point, either through divorce, either through what's it called, death, separation, travel, relocation, for whatever reason, and they can't be together or with someone at this time. But they're still happy, they're still getting on with their lives because their life is not, the love and the happiness is not pegged on some another individual. That's not how we are created. We should be self-sufficient. It is good to have love. It is good to have all the balloons and the cakes and the perfume and the iPhones and whatever it is that women covet this sleep. It's nice to have, but it's not a must-have. And if you don't have it, get on with your life.
Okay. Still talking about gender differences. Do you think that men have been conditioned not to expect from women?
Yes, to a large extent, they have been conditioned to a very large extent, and that's a general thing in society. Just like I just finished explaining, they've been conditioned to be the ones that are providing, and that pressure is what is causing them to engage in antisocial behaviors in society.
But a lot of men will take pride in the fact that, oh, that's my wife, those are my kids, I get to do this for her, I get to do that for her. A lot of men just want to be able to boast about their family. Do you think that even
the role of care, that's grooming the bridegroom, that's the role of care, that's the role of a father in the family to look after the family? But those are basic essentials. Those are not luxuries. We're talking about food, clothing, and shelter, education for your children.
Okay, so during courtship or during dating levels, no woman is supposed to be entitled to what a man can do, even if
it's not a part of the word entitlement is. It's a bit dicey because I don't want to believe that a woman is entitled to anything that a man has. If he gives you a gift, then you appreciate it. It's good to be giving gifts. We like to receive gifts. If that's your love language, bear in mind that it's not everybody that enjoys gifts as a love language. Some people like quality time. Some people like acts of service. You know, there are other things that people like. Right. Yeah. So there's a role of responsibility, which is what you initially talked about. Now, people are going out and you're giving them gifts. You give according to what you have. So you're not going to stretch yourself like we see that a lot of people do. They want to outdo another person, whether they have it or not, and by any means they will get X, Y, and Z so that they can post it online.
Right.
You see that a lot of people they celebrate this Valentine's in very luxurious ways, and you will not even hear about it. Some of them have left the country to go and celebrate it, to do things. You will not see a single post. Some people are just eating jollof rice in their home to their family, and that is enough for them. That's what they have. That's what they want. And that if some of them is not even because they can't afford it. They can afford it, but they don't even see the big deal celebrating Valentine's Day. Some people will say every day is Valentine's Day in our home. We change gifts a lot in our homes. We travel. We do stuff together. Why are we making a big deal? So I don't encourage any woman to believe that they're entitled to anything that a man has. You yourself as a woman, if you feel that you're entitled to it, you must be able to provide it for yourself.
Okay.
What is it that you're giving the man that is commensurate to what it is that you're expecting to receive from the man?
Let's talk about social media here. Let's talk about the impact of social media. Do you think that things got worse with the introduction of social media and the access that a lot of people have to social media? Maybe social media sort of gives a leverage that maybe allow them think that they are on the same. I mean, social media is a leveler, as some people will call it. Is there any way social media has affected people that they are living in so much denial?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can't deny that social media has its pros and cons. And part of the negative things that it does is that it brings a lot of things to our faces, to our homes. A lot of things that I would otherwise not know today. Not that I have time for it today. It's actually a day that I myself don't even spend a lot of time online intentionally. It will bring a lot of things that you would really not know. Do I know what my neighbor exchanged with somebody else if I don't go on social media? How do I know and why do I care? You know, it's when you come online. But do you know that there are companies that actually rent people bags and shoes and hair and all sorts of luxury items? They would do it up in a hotel room in boxes just for pictures and videos. You would take it and post it on social media. When you are done, you paid your rental, you return all these things.
Really?
Now, yes, and when people see these things, They might think it's true and then put themselves under more pressure or make themselves sad as a result of what they are seeing that is not a reality. So you can't see what you see online, and you can't always believe what you see. They do it for birthdays, not just Valentine's. They do it for different kind of exams, even proposals. They do all sorts. You see all sorts of designer bags, all sorts of things, perfumes, and blah blah blah. But they're going to be returned. That's the level that we've reached because
So people will act surprised to receive
yes,
stuff that
yeah,
were rented,
yes.
and
That
after
is
the
that is the
pictures and the
self-worth
post,
we're
they're going to
talking about.
return it.
Absolutely. You will pay this rental company. That's their business. That is the business that they do. So you can rent whatever it is you want to rent from them, and then these people will act surprised, take their pictures, but nothing belongs to them.
Wow.
Nothing. Even some of them are not even real, are not even authentic products. Some of them are just copies. You know
Wow.
how well they do copies these days, and people, that's why this topic is so important. Having your own self-esteem, self-worth. When you don't have it, is when you go to those extremes to do things to please people. People have modified their bodies in different ways, and now it's a complete mess for many people because they've tried to modify their bodies to suit people on social media. People that they otherwise won't interact with, people that don't care about them, people that they may click like and scroll past and forget. They don't remember, have their own problems, their own issues in society. So all these ones that people are doing and trying to kill themselves on social media, they are easily forgotten. Nobody is going to bed thinking about you and thinking about what you posted and what you wore. You are the one that will get into debt. You are the one that is going to distress. You're the one that is going to go through all sorts of emotions because you're trying to please people. And that's why that we found that there are people that have actually taken their own lives as a result of things that they've expected to happen on social media, but it hasn't happened. They didn't get that kind of validation that they need, extreme depression, all sorts, because you're waiting for people that don't care, mostly strangers, to validate you. And that should never ever be the way. It should never be the way to go.
That should be I think that should be the height of it all. Nobody should even put themselves in that situation. So
But that's the world we live in. That's
with,
the world we live in. Mm,
with everything said, you just have to love yourself, and that's why we're
absolutely.
here tonight telling you that you matter in the scheme of things. You are the architect of your own life and your own happiness at the same time. But it's time to go for a quick break. We'll return shortly to talk more about the pronouncement by the EFCC chairman where he defended the ongoing crackdown on internet fraudsters. Please stay with us. We'll be back.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. People's Voice, Mondays through Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Many thanks for staying with us on People's Voice, and this is the only platform, the only show on television where we bring objective analysis, discussions to talk about matters that affect you and I. And in a not so pleasant development, the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukayode, has defended the Commission's ongoing crackdown on internet fraudsters, popularly known as Yahoo boys, despite criticism from some quarters. In his words, he said that it is no longer just about scamming people for these fraudsters. They are now into kidnapping, banditry, and ritual killings. He also said that investigations have uncovered horrifying details, including cases where young female victims were used for rituals. I mean, this is really, really sad. This point where we are as a nation is not something that we should be proud of or tolerate. As a matter of fact, the EFCC chairman also decried moral degeneration in our society, which personally, I believe, is a great concern at this point. So, Ronke Posh, are you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right, so let's link moral declination to self-esteem and societal issues. As reports said, individuals involved in fraudulent activities like Yahoo boys often struggle with low self-esteem. Some say that most times these boys, at the beginning of their chosen path, not career, they may feel pressure to prove themselves or gain validation through material wealth. Let me get your reaction to this.
Well, when it comes to self-esteem, I can believe that they don't have enough self-esteem. But even before that, it's that no one has actually approved of them. Because sometimes it is important that parents, it's not even sometimes, it's very important that parents approve of their children and validate their children. In doing so, they also teach the children to know that they are enough. And the children begin to build their own esteem. But you find now that even when some of these children, whether they're boys, they go to do the online frauds, or the ladies go and sell themselves to men just so they can get the money, they bring the money home. The parents don't question them. The pressure is on them as long as the money is coming in and the parents have enough to eat, to clothe, to a roof over their head and luxury items. These parents too are comfortable. So they are putting pressure on these children. These boys are also in gangs or societies where if they can't get a particular kind of girl, if they don't have a particular kind of car or amount of money. So if you're not secure in yourself and you know that, okay, my success is a journey, then you're not going to be able to stand the test of time. You feel the need to cut corners and be able to get funds to live a certain kind of lifestyle, as opposed to working, investing, and growing just as it should be in life. They want it now because the pressure is there. They can't withstand the pressure. If you're confident, you have a lot of self-esteem, and you know who you are, you feel the need to go and do that. But we find people doing that. And because they are catching one or two or thousands of these boys, it doesn't mean that they are the only ones. We've heard of politicians that are doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
so, our country,
let me go into this societal issue because I was going to come there really. Do you think that the societal emphasis on wealth and status is capable of driving individuals to engage in illicit activities to keep up appearances or gain respect? And do you think that there's any justification for this, even though some politicians are allegedly doing the same?
I mean, it's not a justification for doing anything like this. Having said that, we have to know that to a large extent, people have been normalized in our society. We have to understand that some people will tell you that they want to go into politics because they want to make money. Whereas politics, as far as I know, is for you to serve the people. But you find that people want to go into politics because they feel that that's how they can make money. So it's now something else. It's been misconstrued. When the purpose of something is not understood, it is abused. So definitely it is abused when people don't understand that they're supposed to serve. So in doing this, because leaders are doing this, they've glamorized it. They make it look good. It doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that those individuals are secure. You may come on TV and talk and do all sort of things. But if you're secure and you have your own values and your values are right, then you won't find people writing about you every other day that you took that million, X million, that million, or billions, as a matter of fact, taking the money of the government, whether alleged or otherwise. They shouldn't find your name in certain areas. But that's the situation in the society now. So they glamorize evil, they glamorize wrongdoings. And so our youth are growing up and they're thinking, if they can get away with it, then why do I do that?
Very unfortunate situation there. But let's talk about role modeling. Let's look at it from the angle of glorification of wealth and materialism in our society. Do you think that this glorification can create a culture where young people admire and decide to emulate individuals who have achieved success through questionable means? But in a case where it feels like just do it, just make money, how do we?
There's no consequence. Definitely, it will look good to you. If there's no consequence, if you see and hear that someone is a politician or someone did X, Y, and Z, and they're getting away with it, there are no consequences, or they were arrested, but they were released, then you will feel you can do it. Why not? Why would you want to do certain kind of jobs that you're not going to get a lot of money for and be able to buy the car immediately, travel the world, buy things, luxury items and stuff like that? When some people are doing it and getting away with it, when they are doing it and their parents are not even questioning the means by which they get this money, definitely it's glamorized, definitely it's encouraged in society. And that's why you find that the average is, that's what they want to do, online fraud, or they're trying to get out of the country. That's what I look at. That's our general ambition right now.
Okay, let's, because of time, let's explore societal issues while also addressing the EFCC chairman's statement where he emphasized that investigation has shown that some of these boys that people think are just into scamming activity are actually into ritual killing and terrorism. These are heavy allegations, but the involvement of these boys in ritual killing and terrorism, for some, can or might be linked to a broader societal issue of moral degeneration. But does this degeneration, is there any possibility of it stemming from a lack of self-esteem, social pressure, or moral disengagement? Because we should be able to hold people accountable, and while doing that, we should be able to look at the underlying things that might have led them to where they are.
You see, not having a sound or robust self-esteem does not make you a criminal.
Okay.
You may not have self-esteem, but does not mean that you are going to be a fraudster. When someone is a fraudster or dealing in antisocial behaviors, it's often a parenting issue and a home training issue when the home training has not been done properly. That usually is. You not having a healthy self-esteem does not mean you will turn out badly. There are people that they don't have a robust self-esteem. They don't have the confidence to speak in public. They don't have the confidence to, they don't have a lot of things going for them when it comes to being who they are. Maybe along the line, maybe in their 40s or 50s, they may be able to find out who they are when they go on their own different journeys of self-discovery. It doesn't make them bad people. It just means that they haven't been able to, strengthen that muscle when it comes to their self-esteem. But when you find that someone is stealing to please other people, to look good, and taking things that don't belong to them because they just want to show us, you find that oftentimes it's just for third parties. It's never for themselves. What are they going to say? Okay, I'm going to the village. I want to spray money. I want to see my latest car. It's always them. When people are living their lives for other people, then it's a different kind of issue. It's a different kind of, it's a property of the mind.
Okay.
It's even deeper than a self-esteem issue. It's a property of the mind. The mindset is really, really bad.
Yes. Thank you very much for shedding light on these topics. I mean, it's something that we should talk about over and over again, because the self-esteem issue is not just about, it's not for a particular age range, neither is it for a particular gender. It's something that we need to revisit over and over again. But I have to say thank you for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Addressing moral decadence requires a holistic approach that involves education, job creation, and social programs. It also necessitates a shift in societal values, and above all, you are responsible for whatever you become. So it's okay to love yourself enough. No matter what the situation is, no matter where you find yourself, find something within to hold on to and define your own self. That's how we wrap it up on the show tonight. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and I strongly believe in the project Nigeria as much as I believe in you. Nigeria will be great again. Have a wonderful night as we celebrate love. Good evening.